And here we are again, legends. So here's my Lego. This is how we ended it. It's a beautiful thing. Alright, I just want to talk to you about scrolling and losing your design. If you don't keep your cursor, if your cursor is not on the thing you want to enlarge or reduce, so say here's my cursor's over here, you'll notice now my Lego disappears. Alright, and I'll put my cursor over here. My Lego kind of wants to go to that area, but then it disappears. And now, oh my gosh, where has it gone? And now it doesn't matter where I scroll, I can't find it. Oh, something was there. But if you get to a point where you've scrolled so much and you've lost your design, down the bottom here, it's funny because in the last software I used, it was up the top and it was called a heads-up display. This one here is down here. I don't actually know. It probably has got a name. And I'll find that out one day. But I'm going to call it the bottom down display. So here, right in the middle, is a little magnifying glass that says fit. If you click that, boom, it pops back into your screen. Now, the next thing you might want to do is if you scroll and you get it sort of all in a really awkward spot and you can't get it back into the center of your screen, no matter how hard you try, once you've let go of your mouse, if you hold your control button, like your mouse is over it but you haven't clicked anything, hold your control button over it and then press and hold your scroll wheel. It'll turn into a pan feature and you can drag it back into the center. Alternatively, down the bottom here, it says pan. You can click that and then hold your left mouse button. So there's a few different ways you can do the same thing in this software. That's all cool. Now what I want you to do is we're going to do a bit of a complicated sketch. You can see here now we have a cutout. It looks like a little Christmas boot, but we have a cutout here that is designed for the lid to go on, twist and stay in place. So we have to draw that cutout. So I want you to orbit your little Lego man around enough so that when you look at this little box up here, you can see the word right, and then you're going to left click on right so it brings it around and locks it straight on place. Okay, now we're going to create a sketch. When I click that, the computer is now asking, what do you want to draw on? And you'll notice because we're already straight onto the right side, as I said, we've got front, top, right. Because we're on the right side, I want to click on this. At the moment it's a faded grey until I move my mouse over it. When I move my mouse over it turns orange. I'm going to left click on that and now I'm in my sketch palette. So we're going to use a couple of different sketch tools this time, not a circle anymore. We want to use the center point rectangle, which means it's going to draw a rectangle. It's going to start in the center a bit like the circle did, and then it's going to expand out and create a rectangle. There's two ways we can actually activate that rectangle. So let's, over here we've got a 2-point rectangle tool. Let's click that. When that opens up, you'll notice on the right hand side here is a sketch palette, like always when we're doing something, whether it's a feature palette or a sketch palette. And it's got feature options and it says rectangle. Now the first one highlighted is the default one, the easy one. It just draws a rectangle from one point to the next point. The next one is like a kind of like a parallelogram where it will draw a rectangle based on where you put 3 points. And then this one is a center point rectangle. That's the one we want. So I want you to left click on that one so it's highlighted. Now what I want you to do is I want you to actually, for me, we're going to do something a little bit different and a little bit far off. You'll see the green line straight through the center. I want you to just come over just to the side of the green line, all right, somewhere around here. It doesn't have to be exact. Single left click and now draw me a rectangle. Don't care about the size. Does not matter right now about the size. Just click and then left click so you end up with a light blue box. Okay. Now we're going to do a few tricky things. First we're going to dimension this. Alright, so to dimension it, I am simply going to press D on my keyboard because that is the keyboard shortcut. Alternatively, on the Create tab up here is a sketch dimension button. if you don't have that button there, you can click on the drop down and you'll see it's right down the bottom here with D for the keyboard shortcut. So here I've pressed dimension. Now you'll notice if I go over some of these lines, they turn dark blue. If I go over the edge of my Lego here, it turns black. I want to put a dimension between the top edge of this Lego and the bottom horizontal line of this rectangle. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to select this top edge here. So I'm going to left click on that top edge. Then I'm going to bring my cursor down to the point where this line turns dark blue, and I'm going to single left click again, and now you'll notice there's that dimension line with the two arrows pointing from the top to the bottom. Now if you happen to accidentally not click, so there I've clicked the top of the Lego, if you happen to accidentally miss, you just get this pop up. You just click cancel. Okay, so don't stress about it. So click the top of the Lego and come down and click the bottom of that Lego and bring that out. The other thing is, if you do another mistake and you want to get rid of the dimension feature, or it's all got a little bit complicated, press the escape button on your keyboard, top left hand corner. Okay, all of a sudden my dimension tool's gone. Alright, so I don't have that anymore. So I'm just going to press D again, and oh, those features were still selected, so it's still happy. Happy days, happy days. Let's left click on that and let's make that dimension 8.1 and press enter on your keyboard. Pretty simple. The next dimension, now you'll notice my cursor, the dimension tool is still highlighted in the top. My cursor still has the little dimension feature on the arrow. I'm going to select, I want to create the thickness or the width of this line. We've just set how high it is from the top of the Lego body. Now I want to select how wide this is. So I'm going to just, all I want to do is single left click on that line and bring that number down. I don't need to set other dimensions. And I'm going to click there and I'm going to make that 5.1. Boom. So you'll notice now my rectangle has actually moved considerably. And the thing is, I need this rectangle to be right in the middle, right on line of this green. So I'm going to press escape on my keyboard to get rid of the Smart Dimension tool. This time I'm going to put a constraint in, and a constraint basically locks a sketch to a particular point. Alright, and I know that this is confusing. I know I'm throwing you in the deep end and I'm saying a lot of words and giving a lot of instructions that might not be making sense. I get that. You just got to trust me and trust the process. And you know what will happen is eventually you'll get to the point of designing in CAD and you'll say, look, I know that I did something like that before, and you could say, Miss, remember in the Lego when we had to line that sketch up with the center of the screen? How did we do that again? So I don't expect you to remember the exact process or, but what I do want you to do is just have that in the back of your mind that it's possible. So this dot that's right in the middle of our rectangle here, when I hover over, you can see it goes, whoa! I want that to be in perfect vertical alignment with this dot here, and vertical is up and down. Okay, horizontal is this way. Think of the horizon and the ocean. That's horizon of the ocean, and it's always this way. Vertical, this way. So, under constraints up the top here, very first one says horizontal/vertical. Okay, it's going to set up whatever it is we want it to do. So I'm going to left click to select it so you can see it's turned blue now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the dot at the origin. So down the bottom here in the middle, I'm going to click that dot, and then I'm going to come up to the dot in the very center of my rectangle, and I'm going to left click on that and watch what happens. Oh! It moved! It moved! It's a beautiful thing. And now I will press escape on my cool bar, escape on my keyboard to deselect that constraint. And it does not matter now, if I hold my mouse button on that dot, it's not going to move. It is locked in place, Eddie. Now, but we've got this extra little toe piece, all right? So we need to do another rectangle. So we're going to come back over here to the 2-point rectangle tool. It's defaulted to that very first one, the 2-point rectangle, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so keep that there. I'm going to scroll in so it's nice and tight, and hopefully you'll see when I bring my cursor, so if I bring my cursor to the bottom right hand corner of that first rectangle, you'll see I'll get a blue box. And that blue box is basically saying you are going to connect a sketch directly to this point. That is exactly what I want us to do. So don't click your mouse anywhere else. You know, there's green boxes, there's, you know, all sorts of different things. Come to the middle right there on that point, blue box, single left click and draw another rectangle outwards. Don't matter about the size, don't matter about the size, bloke, because we're going to dimension it. So there's our rectangle. Pointy finger, D on the keyboard, pops me into dimension. This bottom line here, all right, you'll notice it's not highlighting the whole thing across the bottom, it's just this one. We're going to click on that bottom line, bring that dimension down, wherever you want it to be, left click, and we're going to make that 5.1 and press enter. And then I'm going to do exactly the same, this vertical line here. Boom, it turns blue. I'm going to left click on that. I'm bringing this dimension out and it's going to turn 5.1 and press enter. Now, I could really confuse you with a whole heap more information, but right now I don't want to overload you because you are in the deep end. But you'll notice that box that we just created, all 4 sides have turned black. The first rectangle we created, one edge or side is still blue. There is a difference, there is a reason for that. Right now, I'm not going to bog you down with that, but in the real world, we want all our sides and edges to be black, okay? We've got a couple more steps to do before this video is over, so let's do them. The first thing I want to do is, you'll see in this design, we have nice round edges. They're called fillets. So, we're going to put in a sketch fillet. If we come along the ribbon up here, there is a modify tab, and the very first one hopefully is fillet for you. If it's not, click on the modify button and it should be the first one in the list. Okay, so I want you, and it's a little bit like creating that 3-dimensional fillet we did on the chin down here, but this time we're doing it as a sketch, not as a feature. So we're going to left click to select fillet. And we're going to come over here and you'll notice if I hover my mouse over a corner, I get like a red curve, a red feature. So I'm going to click my mouse there. Now I'm just ignoring the dimension for now. All right, I don't want to know, I will fill that in after. I want you to come to the bottom right hand corner here and click that one. And then over on the far left hand side, we can't exactly click. It won't let me click right in the corner. So what I'm going to tell the computer is I want to make a fillet between this vertical line and this horizontal line. So I'm going to click the 2 of them. So I'm going to click that one and then I'm going to click that one. Okay. Now you'll notice I have my 1.5 millimeter box there. I'm going to change that to 2.5 and press enter. And that has now made all of these 3 fillets 2.5 millimeters in radius. And radius is center point to circle. Okay, that's all it is. Now we can do one of 2 things. We can get rid of this line in the middle, or we can just ignore it and do a feature. But if I'm going to show you how to do something, in the modify tab up the top here, next button over is a trim button, pair of scissors. I want you to select that pair of scissors, okay? And you'll recall we did 2 rectangles. We did the center point rectangle and then we did the corner rectangle. So this in effect is 2 lines. So we have to zoom, we have to go over it and we have to select it twice. When I click, you'll see my cursor has a little pair of scissors. When I click the first line, boom, it looks like it's gone, but there is still another line there. It's still red when I hover over it. If I click that again, boom, completely gone. There's my Christmas boot. Happy days, we are champions. Now all we have to do is cut it out. So what we're going to do to cut that out, we are going to go to the extrude button or the extrude feature again. So press E on your keyboard. The feature, the palette over here is asking us to select a profile. Now because we took those 2 lines out, we only have realistically the top and the bottom to select. If we didn't take those lines out, it would actually be asking us to select the toe area and the heel area, and we're not going to be getting rid of anything up here because there's no material up here. So all I want you to do is click that area there. It should turn a darker blue, and this is where we go to operation on the right hand side here, and where it says new body, we're going to click on that drop down and we're going to change it to cut, okay, because we're going to get rid of something. Now I want you to hold your scroll wheel down and orbit this around so you can see that arrow. There's that arrow there, easy peasy. We just drag that all the way through and look, it turns red. It turns red because red is meaning we're getting rid of material. Alright, once we've got that all the way through, so I haven't sort of stopped part way, I've come all the way through, I'm going to click OK, and there is side number 1. Now, you thought that was pretty cool? I hope so. What we need to do is put another one of those on the other side, but we need it in the reverse way. So where the toe is over here pointing to the right, on the other side I need the toe on the left. Tricky, tricky, tricky. No, easy peasy peasy. It's called patterning. Patterning, not that kind of patterning, circular patterning. We're going to click the modify drop down, and is it in the modify? I'm still learning. Create. Where are you? Oh, yep. So come over here to the create drop down. It's never in the same place twice. Yes, it technically is, but I'm still. And we're going to come down to, oh, what is that? About 3/4 of the way down, where it says pattern, and there's an arrow. And what we're going to do is we want to do a circular pattern, okay, because we're going to evolve it on a cylinder. Select circular pattern. Now this over here, object type, we don't want to pattern a body, no. So click the drop down. We want to pattern a feature. So our feature was cutting something out, so we're going to choose feature. Our object is, what's the feature we want to pattern? So I'm going to zoom in here, and you'll notice, depending on where your cursor sits, as to if I'm on the outside edge, you can notice it sort of lightens up. I want to come to the inside edge where that pattern is, where it lightens up, and I'm going to select that. Then it says axis, and if you can imagine, you know, North Pole, South Pole, Earth spinning, axis, dotted line going all the way through, you know, center of something. Our axis is the center of our cylinder. We can't visually see it, but if we click on where it says axis, we click on select so it turns blue. You'll notice here are our little dotted red, green, yellow lines. It's probably, can we select the green axis? Yes, we can. So I hovered my mouse over that green dotted line because that is running, as you can see, through the center. Now that looks a bit silly. We don't want 3, we only want 2. 1 being the original, 2 being the copy. So where it says 3 here in quantity, I'm just going to click the drop down and change that to 2. And you'll notice straight away there is a preview of the sock in a reverse manner. So the toe of the original is to the right. The preview shows the toe to the left. happy, happy days. Lots more I could tell you about this, but let's not overcomplicate things. Let's just click OK. There is our Lego body, so to speak. Control S on your keyboard to save it, and then we're going to get on to the next feature.